judgment that we put upon each other, and then we isolate ourselves from those people for whatever reason. But I think that's it. That my daughter's been a size 0, she's been a size 2, and when she's a size 6, she thinks she's a whale on the beach. And then so she has her own demons she battles with at those sizes, at every single one. So, and then you have me, that I've never been a size 6. I've been a size 8 once upon a time in my life, but that was it. You know, and I've been up and then I've been down. So go ahead, Lori. Lori understands that I interject and announce.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. No, I mean, I was a size 5, 6 when I was like 23 years old, and that was because of a depressive episode that I had, so I wasn't eating. I was eating nothing but M&M, peanut M&Ms, that's what I was eating for like a month. Don't recommend it, it's not a great diet. But I've always struggled with body image. I mean, I've had it since I was a kid. I was brought up with 2 very seemingly, I mean, I loved them, my dad and my brother, but very shallow, very white idea of what is beautiful. And it was Barbie, like skinny waist, skinny hips, big boobs kind of deal. And I heard it all the time. And that wasn't my shape at all. I had big hips. I was thin, but I had big hips, you know, small breasts. And so I developed an eating disorder when I was, I kind of had it throughout high school, but it wasn't really too bad. Didn't really kick in until I got into college. And I was bulimic. Well, I was really anorexic for like a year. But with anorexic, you know, with anorexia nervosa, you could be not eating for a long period of time, and then when you do it, you just throw it up. So a lot of people think throwing up is bulimia, but bulimia is specifically just, that's how you live your life. You eat and you throw up, you eat and you throw up. So mine was, I would go long spurts without eating. I would take laxatives. I would exercise incessantly, and then I would throw up. And I did this while I lived in a dorm, and no people, like my little dorm mates in my section never knew I did this until it finally came out, because I had to, and I had to go seek therapy for it. And I struggled throughout my mid-20s with the eating disorder, and then but body image in general. I was always obsessed with getting too big. And the irony is that I always thought 130 was big. Like that's, and then I got to be like a 145 when I was in my 20s, mid-20s, but I was very athletic looking. And I thought that was huge. And then lo and behold, I get up to like 205, like 10 years ago. And, you know, I guess there got to be a point where I wasn't really so worried about the way I looked and my size. And I just sort of got past that. But I mean, I'm not thrilled about my size. I'm like, I actually gained weight. I gained like 10 pounds in the last 2 months. I'm like 180, and I'm not happy with that at all. I want to be like about 145. But the funny part is that I don't mind my body so much anymore, which I have to say has been problematic for losing weight, because I don't feel 180. I feel like I'm like 145. So there's no incentive for me to really push myself. It's only when I catch glimpses of myself or see a picture, that's when I'm like, oh my God, I am really big. Like I really need to get this. And it's not about, for me, it's more of health and well-being. That's why I want to lose the weight. You know, I want to feel better. But I had a terrible body image for a really long time. And it really ruled me. Like I have to say, like it really, like I was terrified to be intimate with guys because I so hated my body. I even went to 2 doctors to get prices on getting breast augmentation because I just hated everything about myself. And yeah, and it's funny. I mean, I don't now. I mean, it is what it is. I don't care. It's like, listen, you like this, but I like this, so it doesn't matter so much. But I mean, I was talking to Margie, and I'm even like losing hair. I have alopecia, and 10 years ago when it started, I was like freaking out about it. And now I'm like, well, you know, if it gets worse and it gets to the point where I can't hide it, then I'll shave my head bald. I'm like so fine. So I'm shocked to see how okay I am with my body image these days. How about you? So if you want to say, so Lin said, I feel like a supermodel besides the few minutes a day I look in the mirror. I love, me too. I feel like a supermodel too until I look at the mirror. Yes, absolutely. And Dolly's on. Dolly, I'm so glad you haven't talked to Dolly in so long. Thank you so much for coming on. Dolly, this is your show, baby, and your daughter. How's your daughter doing? How are you guys? So you guys need to listen to this show. I think you would get such a kick out of it. So go ahead, Margie.
Well, I wrote, I used to be pleasantly plumped and I was so confident and I felt beautiful. I lost 60 pounds from depression and agoraphobia and I felt so ugly and disgusting. So I'd rather be chubby and happy.
Oh,
That's my cousin Beatty. And I'm so proud of you, Beatty. I'm so proud to where you're at right now. Just keep believing, keep the faith. I believe society, Lisa wrote that society does make us feel like that. Society dictates the images, how we're supposed to look like, Jennifer Lopez and Sofia Vergara, which, I wouldn't mind.
Jennifer Lopez is hot. There's no question. I think she has a fantastically smoking hot body. However, she also has trainers. She has a cook. I mean, listen, think about this for all of us. If we are not satisfied with the way we look, like if we just say, I just want to look a little less, a little less body fat, and I want to be, stronger looking for myself. That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this for myself and for my health. And if you had the money, that's the first thing I would do. These three things I always said, if I won the lotto, there's three things that I would actually hire. I would hire a chef, I would hire a trainer full-time, and I would hire a massage therapist. Those are the three things that I would hire as a full-time staff for me and my family, because those to me would be the best, like absolute best of the best. But yeah, that's, it's not making an excuse. It's just saying that that's part of their job is their image. So if you said,
that is true.
If you said, I want to be thinner, I want to be in better shape, you prioritize that, then you're good. You can make those changes, right? Do you agree? I mean,
Absolutely. I think you can. And okay, so my turn. So I went over that loop of being overweight and then losing it and then gaining it and then losing it. And so I'll tell you my story. I think that in my teens, because of being molested since the age of 6 and finally at 15, I was overweight. Like I think at 11 years old, I was weighing like 211 pounds.
Oh my.
And
wow.
That was with my trauma that I was living through at that moment. Then when I at 14, when I stood my ground and I fist fought and and he stopped, I started losing weight. Then around between 15 and 16, when that was over with, I went down to 128 pounds. But again, that's a teenager. Ooh, I wish I can do that now. So what happens? So then I stood at that weight for a while. I got pregnant with my daughter. So when I had her at late 17, later on in my 17th year, I gained a lot of weight. But within 6 months, I'm back down to 130. So I stood that because then, I was an avid salsa dancer and all that. So I maintained that weight. And then at 19, I was raped. And then after that, I think I maintained the weight of 140 for a minute. And then slowly the weight kept on because I'm not a stress eater, but when I'm stressed and I get sad, I gain weight. So what happened? Then I started gaining weight. Then I realized that the weight was like my armor.
Oh, yeah.
Like nobody looked at me, so nobody would dare rape me again.
Yes.
But I spent years where the fat was my protection. So I didn't do anything about it until I finally wrote about the rape, like 13 years after. And by this time I already had both my kids. And then I realized that that's what I was doing to myself. I stood heavy so I won't be attractive to anybody. And then I started losing the weight. So then I would gain. And then I noticed that going back when we decided to do this, I did a timeline on myself. And I noticed that every time I had gained the weight that I hated, I was in a stressful situation or a sorrowful situation. So when Eric and I got married in November 2010, I was a size 8'9". That was my outfit for my wedding. And I maintained that for like almost 2.5 years later. But when he totally became paralyzed and I became his full-time caregiver, it came on. I went back up to the 200s. Miserable, berating myself that how did I allow myself to get back here? Because that's one part of the body image, is that we are the cruelest to ourselves. And so I would look in the mirror and I would just spew venom at my reflection. And then when Eric passed away a week later, 10 pounds just slipped off. And so that was, again, another confirmation that my weight, when I go through that, it's my stress, it's my sorrow. So I use that as a protection, but then at the same token, growing up, like you said, with your brother and your father, their white mentality of what a woman looks like, Barbie with big tits. I come from a Puerto Rican background where their visions of a perfect woman is the big ass, and maybe big tits, but not so much. And the shape of the guitar, like I always say, I have the shape of a guitar without the chords, right? So then you have that. And my little sister, and I hope she's on, Janet always had this big ass. So then it was like, Mom, how'd she get all of it? And I didn't. I got the wide hips that gives you the illusion of a big ass, but it's just an illusion, mi gente.
Yes, that's what mine is. That's exactly, big hips and no, like my kids are half Puerto Rican and they have like the cutest bubble ass. Like it's just like, I always look at them and go, God, your little cheekies are just I'm like, what? And I say that especially to the little one. I'm like, I want your butt cheeks. That's what I'll pay for those,
But and so the body imagery in me is always bothered. So what? And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a little secret. Now my friend Sonia isn't on, and Sonia and I've been friends since like the 7th, 8th grade, all the way through high school. We're still friends, right? So when I came back from Spain and I was in Connecticut, we met up. We met up for a drink, I believe. So then as we're leaving, her sister called. So she's like, guess who I'm with? She's like, cool. She's like, Margie. And her sister's like, Margie? What Margie? Then she said, oh, wait, Tapa Tapa? So I was floored that she remembered me by that name because I was so complejosa of my white hips and no bubble ass that I would always wrap it. Like I always had something wrapping it. And like if nobody could tell, I didn't have a J-Lo ass, right? Or if I was walking somewhere, I would have somebody walk directly behind me. This was in my, before high school years, maybe through high school. And I'll say, get behind me, because I felt so ugly and disproportioned because I didn't have the bubble butt that was standard for being Puerto Rican.
Yeah. And I was too curvy for a white person.
So that fucks with you. Let's put it in layman's terms. That as a teenager growing up, that it just like makes you feel like you're in the wrong family, in the wrong culture.
Yes.
So, but as you get older, you get better. Now, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be 52. Gravity and my tits are fighting all the time, right?
Oh yeah. I don't even have a big chest.
They're still winning the battle. They're still, they're a little tired, but they're still winning the battle. And so I'm proud of that. I've gained weight. As we mentioned earlier, I blamed it on menopause. And then I wrote something about it, how we all gained weight during COVID, but did we die? No. So the same way we're going to adapt and getting back to what the norm was or a better lifestyle and how we live, we're also going to lose that weight. And then I started thinking back. Like what is my weight shift pattern? And I think the majority of it throughout my life has been a safety, a protector for me, because I'm confident as I am. I don't know if anybody's aware of that. But girl, when I'm down to like 150, my waist is like that. Ooh, I'm hot, right? So so God keeps me fat to keep me humble. Aunt Dolly always said that as I, in my younger years, and it always stood with me. And then I just adapted it over the years. So that's my excuse when people are like, "Oh, you gain weight." God keeps me fat to keep me humble. I'm healthy.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Because there's people that are ignorant, like, "Oh, you gain weight, yeah, and you got older." It's a process we're all gonna go through. So body image, what do you suggest? Wait, Lisa wrote, the best part about weight loss is you can always start all over. Absolutely. That's what I wrote in the blog. But did you die? No. And that's the only thing that can stop us from accomplishing anything or restarting something, right?
Right.
Go ahead, Lori.
Let's do some shout outs. So Joanne, hi Joanne. Joanne is on, and Ruthie, my beautiful niece, and Kelly's on. Hey Kel. I haven't talked to Kelly in a long time, but she is totally amazing. She's a fantastic lovey. So any shout outs on your end?
Yes. I did. Let me see. Iris wrote that, love you and thank you. My grandson calls me cool because I'm so cool. And then Lisa wrote that's key, Lori. It's about being healthy no matter what your body looks like.
Yes.
Nancy Harding says, good morning, girls. I'm just a fat ass. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy says I'm still beautiful, and Iritza complimented her. And then Lisa said the best part about I told you is weight loss. But a shout out to Nancy Rivera Roland. Hello, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Nancy Green is on. Ruthie. That's what I can see because it scrolls up too fast. Good morning and welcome to all of you who have signed on afterwards.
That's right.
So if you want to chime in, anybody who wants to chime in and stories or experiences or what they're going through right now with body image, please do so.
So you said something really key. You're talking about how you the weight was an armor for you. And that's actually very true. It's in research, and it talks about how a lot of women binge eat as a protective armor, because deep down, and this isn't necessarily was your case, like you were outgoing, but there was a little part of you that there was a self-esteem issue because of your trauma.
Absolutely.
A lot of times very linked to trauma. I didn't have trauma, but I just had very low self-esteem. We pack on the pounds to protect us because we don't want people getting close to us. So this is actually one of the more common causes of obesity in women. It's not the only cause, but it's one of the more common causes of binge eating, where even if a woman is saying, I'm going to lose the weight and I'm going to start this diet and I'm going to work on it, the minute they get back into that headspace of feeling that they're afraid, they start eating again because they pack the weight on. And until you get past that and say, you know what, I'm going to get past this trauma, I'm going to get past this. I mean, I've seen it with me. There's certain, not because it's related to trauma necessarily, I guess a little bit, but in my adult life, I've been struggling to fully get rid of my weight because I know one little piece that I don't want to be attractive to other men. Like I don't want, or to men in general. I want to live my life and be left alone, and I don't want to be flirted with. And so there's a little bit of fear. So it's really like a fear of intimacy for me. But now I've gotten to a point where it's not just about how I look. I got to get past that piece of it, because I'm very healthy. I don't take a single thing. I'm 50. But I've started to notice some things, like there's certain little things hurting me now. And because I gained the weight in the last 2 months, I'm not sleeping well. All these little things that happened when I was heavier are coming back. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's become more of a health issue. I don't want to have to be taking anything. So now it's like, okay, this is crunch time. I got to get past all of that and like lose the weight for good, because I want to be athletic and I want to be there for my kids, and I want to be hiking and biking like I like to do, and not be like out of breath or really sore the next day. So that's what this has become for me now. And it's about changing the mindset and then having the support. So Margie and I are actually going to go on a program, and we're going to start not this Saturday, but the following Saturday for 6 weeks. It's a 6-week program. And we're going to be there to help each other and coach each other through as we go through it, so that we have that support to help us. So when we're struggling and we're like, calling in the emergency, I got the cookie in my hand, drop the cookie, walk away from the cookie, that's what we want to do for each other, because sometimes it's hard to do it just yourself. And then especially if you're cooking for other people, right? Because you have your mom to cook for, you know, I have my kids to cook for. And if we're like eating something a little different and then our kids don't want to eat that, or your mom doesn't want to eat that, it's like the temptations are there, you know? So we need the support. And again, it's for health, but I'm not going to lie and say it's not for our own pleasure, right? So like, I want to rock the stuff. I want to be able
I want to wear my
you know,
belly hip with the coins on it to go to Walmart, because that's what
right.
I do.
That's right. I mean, listen, I don't think, like, if you look at, like, for instance, I don't think Margie and I look our ages at all. I feel like I'm like in my late 30s. You know, like, to me, that's how I feel. When I think of 50, I think, oh my God, 50 is so old. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm 50. So I like, in my mental age is like 38, right? And Margie and I don't think we're in our 50s. So now I want the body to match. Like, I want somebody from behind to be like, oh my God, look at that 30-something-year-old woman. You know, I want it to match, but I want to have the brain of my 50-year-old self, because I love my 50-year-old brain. I do. Absolutely do. And Katie's watching. Hey, Katie, what's up?
You have an amazing day too, Lisa. Yeah, it's but body image can cause a lot of internal damage.
Yeah, for sure.
And we some people can carry it, and it can ruin relationships with their significant other. It can ruin like their income, because then they don't want to leave the house because nothing fits them right.
Yes.
Nothing's comfortable in it. And then with all of that body image bullshit that we carry, and then we lose our energy and desires to want to actually go out and buy the stuff that's to detox and start the clean eating, and even just to exercise. Then you're just lethargic after that, because you're in a constant battle up here, and it just like sucks the life out of you.
Yes.
And they're done that, so I can speak on that. So it's like, what can you recommend if you're in that dilemma of, you know, you got to do better, but you're self-sabotaging every escalon on your ladder, your love life, your work, your income, you know, your family time, because nothing fits right. Everything's uncomfortable. You just want to give up because, how am I here again? So you're frustrated. You're beating yourself up. It's like, it's a constant bloody battle within your head that trickles down, and the tears come out, and then you're sick to your stomach. I mean, it's.
And then you eat. Then you eat because you're so upset. Yes. And you regret it afterwards. I mean, obviously, most of the body image that we're focusing on today has to do with being overweight. But even women who are, or men, I mean, this can affect anybody, but even those that are underweight, that feel that they want to be heavier, it's frustrating as well, because even when they're eating, they're not gaining the weight, and then they feel, you know, they feel like they're less of a person. And I think that's the key thing. It's like, when you said, what will it take for you to stop, you know, not in those exact words, but what will it take for you to stop self-sabotaging? It's a mindset. It's to finally say, okay, you know, I need to do this. I want to do it for this reason. And you have to identify that. Like, you have to identify what's the reason that you want to lose the weight. And you're right, it can affect relationships. Like, and this is how it can affect relationships. Like, for instance, if you don't think that you're good enough because of your size, you will put yourself into a relationship that's awful, because you don't feel like you deserve something better. So you settle, and then you put yourself into a miserable relationship. Or you could put yourself into a relationship where somebody treats you meanly. You know, they make comments about your size. You could, and then that adds to your own. And I've seen it, right? I've seen women, especially, where, well, actually men too, where they were heavy, and they went and they lost all the weight, and then all of a sudden they left their spouse because they lost all this weight. And people, and I've heard it on both sides. I've heard it where the person got left and saying, oh, they lost all this weight and then they left me. And I'm like, because they weren't who they were. Like, they weren't who they were. And once they lost the weight, they started to understand who they were. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying that what I agree with is discovering yourself. You know, if you feel that you're meant to be thinner and you want to get to there for all the reasons, it could be vanity, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, I just
As
want.
long as you're not vain and shallow. Just
Yeah. But right, so you make the choice and you say, this is, you know, but you have to identify it, right? So I think that would be the first step, Margie, is to say, who am I now? Like, who am I right now? And am I okay with this? And if you say I'm not, I'll say, okay, then what do I need to do? And I can't, and if you identify that you can't do it by yourself, then you need help. So like, again, it's like, if you, like, Margie and I are funny. Like, Margie and I have the same shape in that sense. Like, we're both like, but Margie's got bigger boobs than I do. So, but I, like, when you look at me, I don't look heavy because I'm actually more, you're a guitar, I'm more of a pear, the infamous pear shape. So it's like, if I stand up, it gets wider as it goes down. It's like, if I go up, you'll see it just widens, you know? And I want to be thinner, you know, and I got to identify that. I say, okay, well, what can I do like, finally get rid of this? What can I do? I have to eat. I have to change my eating. I have to change my activities. I have to change my mind. I have to eat it, not pick and do these things. You could jump in anytime. You can interrupt me.
No, I'm listening because it's true. I think, you know, like everything in life, we ourselves individually, we have to make a decision. And like any other decisions we make in life, we're going to come across people who are going to go against us or that will encourage us. I don't give a shit which one you tend to follow.
Right.
But what I suggest is that you build up that self-belief in yourself to know that you made a decision and you're going to stick to it. Just make a decisive decision for your well-being. And people are going to agree and people are not. But the bottom line is, you're doing this for you. You are here, right? So where do you want to go? I believe that everybody has gained weight during the quarantine, whether it was 3 pounds to 15 pounds.
Yeah.
It was just inevitable, especially when everything was really on lockdown in the beginning. The anxiety, the stress, being trapped. I mean, there's so many emotions that must have been like making people dizzy. So you're here. This is where we're at right now. We don't like where it landed. So
Yeah, because like, I've never liked this. I don't know, like, what
wings. Yeah, we all have that. Now I'm going to show you because you know what? I'm not ashamed of myself.
Yeah, no, I'm going to show too. We're going to both show off.
And I wore this because we're talking about body image. And if I'm going to sit here and co-host a show to talk about body image and what we need to get done, then I can't be ashamed of my body, right?
Yeah.
So, and let me tell you, it's not cute, but here we go. So this is where I've gained my weight, right here.
I've gained it everywhere, but I definitely, my belly.
Right here. Yep. I can't even show you. And down more a little. But you know what? Right here. See, watch it jiggle. And it's okay. And I'm okay because I know.
Here's mine. Can I show mine?
Yes.
Look at this. Like, this is, and listen, then you get saggy. I know mine's a little, so mine is like, look at this thing. Like, I could donate. I could, like, does anybody need skin and fat for anything? Right? And here's the great part. Like, when you're, like, these are chichos in Spanish, right?
Uh-huh.
And they sound so much better than fat rolls, but they really are, like, just, they're fat rolls. I got it on the stomach. I've got this under here. I've got it on the hips. Listen, you know you have body fat when, right? Has your fat ever hurt you? Like you actually are, your fat is in pain. Like the other day, I was sitting somewhere, fat hurts. Like my fat actually hurts. Or you can't get into certain positions. Like if you're stretching or maybe even having sexual positions, your fat gets in the way of the position you want to get into. Like that's when you know, like it's time. It's time to, like, you know.
I'm practicing abstinence, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I'm saying in general. I'm saying, even putting on my shoes sometimes, I'm like, you know, like there's a fat roll that's getting in the way. I'm like, this is not right. Like this.
Yeah, those I think is our body reminding us, it's time to do something. You know, I think our body it's our temple. It's going to give us reminders, like when the aches and pains, they're warning us about something. So, and thank you for bringing that up. Pay attention to your body. Your body's going to tell you if, you know, just like when you eat something that doesn't agree with you, you get nauseous, you throw it up. That's your body saying, that don't belong to me. And so it tells you, like Lori just said, it gets in the way, on purpose. That if you don't get reminders or nobody around you tells you gained weight, so you're going around thinking that, you know, you're a ballerina or something, like, whoo, everything, then your body's going to tell you, no, wake up.
But listen, but one thing we want to bring it back around to body image. If you are satisfied with the way you look and you are a bigger person or you are a really thin person and you're satisfied with that, then great. That's what, I mean, in the end, that's what it's all about. It's about positive body image, feeling positive about yourself, but it's also about health. That's the other thing. I mean, but we won't get into that. Could be a whole nother conversation, but it's about how you feel about yourself. And if you don't feel positive about yourself, then identify what is it about yourself that you don't feel positive. If you say, I don't feel positive about my weight, I don't feel positive about the fact that, I mean, I'm thin, but I'm not strong looking, or maybe it's the way you look or your hair or whatever. But the other pieces is that we don't want you, because like people have very negative body images and they start hitting the plastic surgeon, and then next thing you know, they're getting this done and this. They get very addicted to it because what it is it's in here, right, Margie? I mean, like that's where it has to come. That's where you have to identify. You know, again, like if I don't lose the weight, I'm not, my image of myself, like my mind is not any less. Like I want to do it for different reasons. Like I want to rock certain outfits, and I want to.
Me too.
You know, and and for me, that's, you know, that's why I want to do it, and for health and for, right?
Look, I want to wear my waist beads and actually have a crop top with my hip skirt and my waist beads showing. That's what I do.
Like you don't
I'm
want
not
the
asking for much. Yeah, I don't want the pupa short or that little where somebody thinks they can come up and squeeze it, like if I'm the muffin man or something.
The doughboy.
The doughboy, yeah. So yeah, and again, your body will tell you whether you're too thin or too heavy. Your body will speak to you.
Right.
You gotta develop that self-trust within yourself and your spirit in order to listen to it. Stop listening to what the outside world is telling you, because all they're telling you is they're doing this. You're not right, you're not this, you're not that. No,
yes.
Listen to your body, because it's going to speak to you with love.
Yes.
And it's going to show you, it's going to pinpoint certain areas, and the pain is going to be sharp sometimes, but it's just to wake you up to pay attention, whether you're too thin or you're too heavy. Just because you might be a size 14, 16 doesn't mean you're unhealthy. Absolutely.
That's correct. That's
Thank
correct.
you for bringing
yes.
that up.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean you're unhealthy, because let me tell you something. I think I was telling you yesterday, Lori, how the week before I left Connecticut to drive to Florida, I got here March 3rd. I was in my size 14 jeans. And I say that with such like pride that, and then now they don't go up my thighs. And I'm like, how the hell did that happen in such a short period of time? Then I said, when I speak to thin people, they're probably saying 14, that's still fat. But you know what? Marilyn Monroe was a size 14 her whole career, and she was a beast. And that's what we forget. Marilyn Monroe was a normal sized woman. But all that to say, I'm proud to be a 14. If I'm a 14.
Wait. I've got to say, listen, I got to say one thing though. Yeah, they say like she was either a 12 or a 14, and like Lucille Ball was a 12. The sizes have changed though over the years. So actually a size 12 years ago is more like a size 8, or maybe almost a 10. I swear it's true, because I've actually tried on clothes from years ago or put them on my kids, and they were the size quote that they were, and they didn't fit into them. They were smaller. So we've adapted the sizes to make ourselves feel a bit better about ourselves. It's not across the board, I suppose, but it is different.
European sizes are
when I saw that. Yeah, no, European sizes, but
if you look at Marilyn Monroe, she wasn't thin. She didn't have a stomach.
She was so sexy.
She had a flat stomach for her ass was broad, her hips were broad.
Very sexy.
So she wasn't skinny. So for me, a size 14, I'm good. Do I rather be a 9, 10? Absolutely, because that's where I'm my best at. and I'm gonna use numbers because those sizes is where I know I'm my best at. A size
Yeah,
9.
I'd rather be a 9, 10 myself.
Yeah. So, but a 14 made me happy, and then I compared it to here, and I said, "What's going on?" Again, I brought my mom over in Connecticut. I have both my sisters. I brought my mom. It's just me, adjusting to the Florida heat again. Figuring out what I'm going to do with her so that I can
Get back on your routine.
full time on so I can create my income back now that I'm here. So I have been stressful. So yes, without a doubt, I got the stress weight again. But the bottom line is, I love me. I know what my capabilities are when I set my mind to it. I trust myself that I'm gonna be upset with myself some days more than others, but it's just a push to start something. And like Lori said, I'm sorry about this dog. I didn't realize he was here. As Lori said, in 2 Saturdays from now, we're going to start something and we're going to play it out on every program. So if you would like to follow, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this as a tribe. So
Yes.
Thank you, Lori.
Yes. Yep. And I'm going to say this. I want to lose enough weight to where when I put on a thong, you can actually see most of the thong, as opposed to being completely hidden by my ass cheeks. That's my goal. I want to be able to put a thong on that's sexy and you can still see most of it, rather than it disappearing within.
Oh shit! I like that one.
Dolly says you have to find balance within the self to be able to correct the unbalance we have with weight. Also stop looking at how others look. Work with what you have. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But again, when you're stuck in whatever, too thin or too heavy, there's no room for that. Like in the beginning, if you train yourself now and you catch yourself in that, then it's easy. But if you've never been, like, let's say my younger years, I've never had that, any growth stuff. So I dealt with it and I suffered for many years being the way I was. But absolutely that, in hindsight, it's always key to say, do this, do that. That is why, mi gente, Lori and I are here for the feedback. Who gave you that feedback right now? Because
Dolly did. Yeah, Dolly did.
So that's how we don't need to stumble over the same mistakes over and over. That is why we created this, to build that tribe for both men and women, so that we can all listen to one another, everybody who has had the experience, so we don't have to keep stumbling over our own 2 feet.
Years ago, when I lived in South Carolina, there was this lady that had this weight loss program, and she would advertise on TV, and she had this catchphrase at the end, and it always stuck with me because I got to tell you, out of all the weight loss things out there, this made the absolute greatest sense, and it was such insight. Her end catchphrase would say, "It's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you." That's what she would say, and it's true, because in the end, the way we look, whether we're too thin, too heavy, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel we look, and if we feel that we need to be, a different size, for instance, and it's not happening, then it has to do with how we feel about ourselves truly on the inside. You could be very confident, but if you also have that little piece of you that says, I really do want to be thinner and it's not happening, or I really want to gain the weight and it's not happening, then you have to look deep within and say, okay, what's stopping? And identify it. So Margie brought up a good point. She's like, you don't want to keep repeating the same things over and over again, and it's not happening. So it's about identifying what's worked for you and what hasn't worked for you. And if you are still at the weight you are, whatever you've tried hasn't worked for you. But that doesn't mean you can't go with it. Like, let's say you tried Weight Watchers and you didn't lose the weight, or you lost it, but then you gained it back. But it's the mindset that still needs to change. You didn't conform to it. And so what it is that's why the tribe is important. So it's to say, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. What can I do about it? And that's what Margie and I are going to do for each other. We're going to be texting each other and calling each other and having our once a week coaching session to say, what did you deal with this week? What did you want to have? Write it down. Keep track of it so that you could identify it when it comes up. Lock the cabinets if you need to. Don't buy the stuff if that's the case. Because I don't have willpower. I will tell you that right now. For the same reason. If I'm sad about something, or if I'm upset about something, that's when I eat. That's when I eat. And I recognize that. But it's just a matter, even if you recognize it, but it doesn't mean you can stop it in the interim. But if it's not there, if it's not in the house, you can't use it, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't think to the point that I overeat. I just think I eat the wrong thing, because when I'm in this mind frame that I'm in now, I have my salad and the chicken to grill, which is my favorite. I can eat grilled chicken and salad twice a day for a whole week because I love it. I put the walnuts in it and all that. And some days I see that and my niece is cooking something else, and I'll forego the salad and have like 3 empanadas de carne y queso that she'll make, you know? And I'm like, oh, I just can't believe I ate that. Why you gave me that? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. You
And
know,
I say that just for the moment, but it was actually, it was always my choice. And so yeah, that's where I find where I was allowing myself to go.
Yep. Yep.
Because I'm in control of me. Is it time already? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, this was a great conversation.
So our
Thursday.
Jenna said, I just want to make sure, our Jenna said, I can't wait to be a size 32 again. I've changed my habits and my way of thinking. I've been back at the gym for almost a week and lost 4 pounds so far. Great.
Yes, doing phenomenal.
Celebrate the little victories. We're always talking about when we're losing weight. Oh my God, I need to lose 20 pounds. And that's all you focus on. You don't think about the 2 pounds or the 1 pound that you lost in the week. We totally glide over that, but you got to celebrate those little things because it's that steady weight loss that usually stays off anyway, right? And yes, we are at the end. So Thursday's episode, we are going to continue this conversation on body image, and we will have our guest. It'll be Lillian Maldonado of Maldonado Consulting. So she has graciously accepted our invites to come on. And again, you can absolutely be a part of the show. You just have to message us and let us know that you're interested, and we can go over topics and let you know what fits for you. And anything else, honey? You know, anything else that we need? I don't think so, right?
No, just remember, this is very important to us, that it's all about Viva Cafe con Leche. So it's important that you take a selfie of your mug. You can do it together with you or just a mug, and either post it under hashtag Taza de Café Challenge and hashtag Viva Cafe con Leche. You can do it on Instagram where it comes to your Facebook page, or you can send it to us. And then we will be announcing or showing you the things we have with the Viva Cafe con Leche logo. So let's do this. Let's brand our brand together.
Yes. And also remember, Margie's book is on sale at Amazon, so please make sure that you check it out. It's a beautiful book.
Searching for Peace.
Order that. And
I am so in love with this book. I am. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I go back and read the first book, the second edition in here, and there's proof of the growth of the sabiduría that has been collected. I know we got to go back. I can talk forever. Maybe I should do another virtual book reading or something like that.
Sounds good.
So go ahead. Until Thursday, mi gente. Go ahead, Lori. Say goodbye.
Dolly said, good to start my morning with you guys. Yes, that's the whole point.
Thank you.
Notify, put notifications in, share. We love you guys. And we will see you on Thursday morning. And remember, be you, be real, be extraordinary. And Margie?
Remember, breathe in the beauty, breathe out the bullshit. Namaste, mi gente. Until Thursday.
Bye, everybody. See you Thursday. Have a great day.